Okay, so this video is all about circles. I'm going to talk about finding the circumference and the area of a circle and kind of different parts about a circle that you will need to know. So, first thing, the circumference of a circle is kind of like the perimeter. It's the distance around the outside. So this guy right here, that would be the circumference. So I want you to fill it in. The circumference is, we're going to say, the perimeter of the circle. So I'm going to highlight it. Here's the perimeter, or here's the circumference. It's the distance around the circle. Alright, then the diameter is the line that goes through the center of the circle. I'll do it in blue. I want you to write and has 2 endpoints. So this one that goes the whole way across, it touches the center, touches the center right here, and it goes from this end through the center to that end. That's the diameter. And last but not least, there's something called the radius, and it's a line that connects the center of the circle to one endpoint. So here's the center. It goes to one endpoint, just like that. It goes from center to the end. And then another thing to note, oops. Okay, I'm gonna just leave that there. Is in math, there's this number. It's called pi. It's spelled like this, P-I, not like the food, like the Greek letter, pi. It's written like that. So it has, kind of, you start off like an H, and then you kind of give it a squiggly top, pi, and it's equal to approximately 3.14. So anytime you see pi, I want you to substitute this in. So pi equals 3.14. Just an important note. So I'm going to draw a circle real quick. That's not a circle. There we go. That's closer. So remember, this guy is the radius, and the whole thing is the diameter. So if you look, the diameter really, if I put two radiuses together, which is called radii when there's two of them, there would be one, and this would also be a radius, just going in a different direction. So there's two of those. So really the diameter can be found by taking 2 times whatever the radius is. And similarly, let's say we're given the diameter. In order to find the radius, I can just cut it in half and get the radius. So radius is half of diameter, or the diameter divided by 2. So I'm going to say R equals D divided by 2. So if you're given one, you can find the other. Okay, so keeping in mind that the radius is the one that goes halfway, the diameter goes the whole way, we're going to practice finding those two things. So I want you to think to yourself, is this line here that's given to us, is that a radius or a diameter? It goes from the center to one endpoint on the circle, so it's a radius. So my radius is 8 meters. Keeping in mind, these two things, the radius is the diameter divided by 2, or diameter is 2 times the radius. You can find diameter is 2 times 8. So my diameter is 16 meters. So if I was going to go the whole way across, I would add another little radius of 8 meters, making the whole thing 16. Alright, so going back to our definition of circumference. Circumference is the distance around the outside of the circle. So kind of like the perimeter. So that's the circumference. I can calculate it with this formula. The circumference, oops, that's not a highlighter. The circumference equals pi times the diameter. So knowing that C equals pi, remember that pi is 3.14. Pi times the diameter. I substitute in 3.14 for pi. And what's my diameter? It goes all the way across. So that's my diameter, it's 20. So I take 3.14 times 20. I get 62.8 meters was my units. So that is my circumference. Okay, so for area, it's kind of similar, has pi in it. Remember, pi equals 3.14. But my formula for area is pi r squared. So pi times the radius squared. What it means to square a number, so r squared, is you're really taking r times itself. So r times r is r squared. So I'm going to say, what is my radius? I want to think to myself, is what's given to me, is right here, is that a radius or is it a diameter? It goes from the center to one endpoint, from the center to one endpoint, so it's a radius. So my radius is 12 kilometers. I'm going to go, the area of my circle is pi times my radius squared. Is pi times my radius is 12. Oops. How do I move just this? Oh well. There we go. So this is really pi times 12 times 12. Substitute 3.14 in for pi. 12 times 12 is 144. use a calculator real quick. 3.14 times 144 is 452.16 kilometers squared. So whenever you're dealing with area, it's going to be units squared. Alright, so go ahead, do an example on your own, go back and rewatch a section, then raise your hand to let me know that you are ready for the next portion of class.